Teamwork. That's what 2018 PSLE Paper 1 asked for. Let's apply our continuous writing guide to this prompt and write a distinction composition together. Welcome to SmartPath SG, where every student can learn, grow, and succeed. This is the continuous writing guide in action. We take a real PSLE Paper 1 picture prompt and work it right through, planning, structuring, drafting, and polishing, until it becomes a composition that would score well. Watch it alongside the guide and you'll see exactly how each piece of advice turns into words on the page. Section 1. The prompt. What you're given. Write a composition of at least 150 words about teamwork. The pictures are provided to help you think about this topic. Your composition should be based on one or more of these pictures. Consider the following points when you plan your composition. How did the team members work together? What did the team members hope to achieve? You may use the points in any order and include other relevant points as well. Section 2. Plan it. The 5 questions. Question 1. Who? Team of 3. I am quick-tempered, with restraint still to learn. Marcus is the steadiest pair of hands, and the one who breaks. Priya is fast-thinking, the one who acts first. Question 2. Where and when? The final of a cooking competition. 30 minutes. A single setting and a ticking clock. No scene hopping. Question 3. The problem. A flare-up sends the main dish onto the floor with 20 minutes left. But the real problem is that Marcus collapses into self-blame, and I badly want to shout at him. Question 4. What next? Priya fetches the spare fillet. I choose kindness over blame. The team reorganizes around Marcus instead of replacing him. Question 5. The ending. We win, but the reflection lands on the rescue, not the prize. That answers both guiding questions. Teamwork is a value, not an event. The danger is writing a flat report of a group project that goes well. This plan puts the team under real strain and presents 2 layers of conflict. One outside, the ruined dish, and one inside, my swallowed anger. Such depth is what separates a distinction composition from a competent one. Section 3. Map plan to the 5-paragraph outline. Paragraph 1. The hook. Open inside the competition kitchen, establishing the 3 teammates, the clock, and what they want. Paragraph 2. The buildup. Chef Lim's kitchen is a machine line is planted here. Then 10 minutes of everything going right. Paragraph 3. The conflict. The flame, the fish on the floor. Marcus breaking down. The tension turns inward. Will I shout? Paragraph 4. The resolution. Priya acts. I choose kindness. The machine starts turning again. The recovery is earned by the practice, and the roles set up in paragraph 2. Paragraph 5. The reflection. The trophy is lifted and quietly set aside. Closing sentences define what teamwork actually is. Section 4. The model composition. Let's read it whole before taking it apart. The competition kitchen smelt of garlic and hot oil long before our own stoves were lit. Beside me stood Priya and Marcus, our crisp white hats sitting proudly on our heads, and our wooden spoons raised like swords. 8 weeks of practice had carried us to the final of the National Junior Chef Challenge, and we wanted one thing, that trophy. 30 minutes on the clock, the announcer boomed. We had a plan. Marcus, whose hands were the steadiest, would pan-fry the fish. Priya would arrange the carrots and salad. I would stir the sauce Chef Lim had taught us to perfect. A kitchen is a machine, our mentor always said. Every gear must turn together, and when one jams, you have to help it turn, or nothing moves at all. For the first 10 minutes, our machine hummed. Priya's carrot slices fanned out like orange petals, and my sauce thickened into a glossy ribbon. I allowed myself a small, secret smile. Then a tongue of flame leapt from Marcus's pan. He jerked backwards, and the fish slid off the spatula, landing on the floor with a wet slap. The kitchen fell silent. Marcus's face turned as white as his apron, and his lower lip began to tremble. I've ruined it, he whispered. I've ruined everything. 20 minutes remained, and our main dish lay on the tiles. Part of me wanted to shout at him. Instead, I remembered Chef Lim's words and swallowed my anger. We still have the spare fillet, Priya said quickly, already darting to the chiller. Marcus, breathe. Your hands are the steadiest of us all. I slid the burnt pan aside and set a fresh one on the stove. Lower heat this time, I said gently, squeezing his shoulder. We'll be your extra pair of hands. Something changed after that. Priya called out timings while I passed ingredients before Marcus could ask. His jaw set, and the fillet turned a beautiful golden brown. The machine was turning again. Time's up. We plated our dish with 3 seconds to spare. When the judges announced that we had clinched first place, the hall erupted. Marcus lifted the gleaming trophy above his head, its polished surface catching the light like liquid gold. Yet as I looked at the 3 of us, sauce-splattered, sweaty, and breathless, I realized the trophy was not what I treasured most. That afternoon, I learned that a team is not a group of people who never make mistakes. A team is a group of people who catch one another when they fall. Note that a new speaker always starts a new line, so this composition looks like 13 blocks on the page. It is still the 5 stages we planned earlier. Correct dialogue layout is a language mark. Never cram speech into a block, just to keep the paragraph count tidy. Section 5. The same essay, annotated. The hook introduces 3 characters, a setting, a goal, and a deadline in 4 sentences. It opens with smell, not one day. The spoons raised like swords is a simile that tells you these children think of themselves as fighters. Characterization smuggled inside an image. It answers guiding question 2 immediately. We wanted one thing, that trophy. That short colon ending answers the prompt outright without sounding like it is answering a prompt. And a clock starts ticking. The buildup uses 3 sentences with identical shape: Marcus would, Priya would, I would, which are the literal answer to how did the team members work together. And the repetition itself sounds like a machine ticking over. Chef Lim's line is not decoration. The story will use it twice, once to stop the narrator shouting, and once as the final image of the rescue. Plant, then payoff. The sensory detail carries 2, orange petals and a glossy ribbon. The conflict starts with the burnt fish. On its own, it is only bad luck, and bad luck is not a story. The paragraph adds another layer. Part of me wanted to shout at him, the inner choice I have to make. That is where the reader leans in. The short sentence, the kitchen fell silent, cuts against the long sentence of the accident. White as his apron shows, rather than tells, and a wet slap gives you the sound. The resolution has 2 rescues happening at once. Priya saves the dish. I save the teammate. Priya's praise deliberately repeats the word used to introduce Marcus in the buildup, steadiest, so the reader hears the team giving Marcus back his own identity. And the machine was turning again closes Chef Lim's image in 5 words, far stronger than a stock phrase like we worked like a well-oiled machine. There is no lucky stranger and no coincidence. The recovery is earned. The reflection deliberately demotes the trophy, which is exactly what lifts it above we won and I was happy. The last 2 sentences use the same frame twice. A team is not, and a team is, so the definition arrives with rhythm rather than as a lecture. One statement of the lesson answers the topic without preaching. The instruction is that your composition must be based on 1 or more of the pictures. Using 2 is not a compromise and loses you nothing. There are no extra marks for a full set. So a picture belongs in your composition only if it makes that story better. Never cram in a picture just to tick a box. A single picture handled with a strong conflict beats 3 pictures shoehorned into a rambling plot. Section 6. The techniques pulled from this essay. Precise speech verbs. Boomed, whispered, said quickly, said gently. And the announcer's 2 lines carry no verb at all, because the shout speaks for itself. Show, don't tell. His lower lip began to tremble. Not he was upset. Part of me wanted to shout at him. Not I was angry. His jaw set. Not he felt determined. Sentence variety. The kitchen fell silent, and the machine was turning again. 4 and 5 words. Sit against the long flowing sentence of the accident. The contrast is deliberate. Strong verbs. Boomed, jerked, darting, leapt, erupted, clinched. Not vague verb, plus an adverb, such as went quickly, said loudly, moved suddenly. Similes that do work. Spoons raised like swords, because they see themselves as fighters. White as his apron, which uses something already in the scene. And like liquid gold. A simile is a lens, not an ornament. Sensory detail. Smell, garlic and hot oil. Sight, fanned out like orange petals, and a glossy ribbon. Sound, a wet slap, and the hall erupted. Motif. The machine, planted in Chef Lim's advice, echoed in our machine hummed, paid off and the machine was turning again. 1 image, 3 appearances. And this is what makes a composition feel crafted. Parallel structure. Marcus would, Priya would, I would, for the 3 roles. And a team is not, a team is, in the final 2 sentences. Section 7. Your last 5 minutes checklist. The guide's final stage is proofreading. Story and task first, because a composition that drifts off the topic cannot be rescued by tidy punctuation. Then sweep for language accuracy, which is where the most learnable marks in the paper sit. Story and task. The composition is at least 150 words, and clearly links to at least 1 of the pictures. The ending feels complete, and stays on the topic given. Nothing contradicts itself. Names, ages, times, places and objects stay the same from start to finish. Anything referred to later, the rule, his words, that promise, was actually set up earlier. And no words accidentally left out, and nothing is illegible. Language and mechanics. Tense stays consistent. A story is told mostly in the past tense, so watch for accidental slips into the present. Subjects and verbs agree. Spelling uses British forms. Capital letters for the start of every sentence, for names and for the word I. Apostrophes are right. Possessives and contractions not mixed up. Dialogue is punctuated correctly. Speech marks open and close, the punctuation sits inside them, and each new speaker starts a new line. You cannot fix what you rush past, so read at the pace you would read aloud. That is what makes slips visible. Lastly, let's put all together. 1 prompt, 4 moves. Plan. Answer 5 questions in 5 minutes, giving 1 room, 1 clock, 3 people, and 2 layers of conflict. Shape, hook, build-up, conflict, resolution, reflection. Where the motif planted in build-up is what makes resolution feel earned rather than lucky. Draft. About 425 words, bringing the story to life with skillful application of language techniques. Polish. Story and task first, then language, with 2 pictures used well, and the third left alone on purpose. That is how a prompt becomes a distinction composition. Thanks for watching. Head over to smartpathsg.com to play our free PSLE practice game, or join our community for more tips and resources. Don't forget to subscribe for new videos every week.